Right, good afternoon and welcome to everybody that have joined us with this affiliate licensee orientation session. We run these webinars on an ongoing basis, primarily for our affiliates, so that they can learn about finance, admin, legal, over and above the occupational health and safety things. This evening is a really pertinent topic. It's a topic that I've become more and more familiar with, simply because I have in my house, I've got 4 millennials. And millennials, as you know this stuff. They know it more than we do. This is for us, this is pretty new. For us, my generation, it is completely new. And if it weren't for them, I would probably be left in the dark ages. And it's been a real privilege working with the millennials and having them inputting into our lives and our business and so forth. A little bit more about them in due course. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for joining us. It's really nice. Thank you. I appreciate the fact that you've taken the time to join us. There's some new names over here. So to those of you that are new, fantastic. It's really nice to have you with us, and I trust that you'll benefit from these webinars as we go along. At this stage, it's open to anybody. Anybody can come along and listen to it. And then what we do is we take it, we record it, we put it onto YouTube, and you can then have the opportunity of watching it again, or alternatively, you can share it with your colleagues, your friends, and so forth. But at this stage, there is something that I need to ask you to do. When you go onto YouTube, would you please click the subscribe button? It means that every time we put a new video on, you'll be notified on YouTube that there's a new video. And we've got videos. We recently had one on environmental toxic waste management, which was very, very interesting. We had one on asbestos. We had one on ergonomics by one of South Africa's leading ergonomists. We had a presentation by a well-known psychologist who spoke about the effects of COVID on his life. We've had various affiliates that have actually been contributing to the entire process as well, with their subject matter specialists, and they've been talking to us. So it's truly a privilege. I can see Francois there. Francois, welcome. Nice to have you with us. He was our speaker last week. And Francois, I see that there's been a nice uptake on that presentation that you did. So that's absolutely fantastic. So let me get straight into it. I started my first business about 30 years ago, having worked for NOSA. And it was a real hit and miss thing. I used to walk down the road, literally wearing a suit and a briefcase in my hand, knocking on doors or gates or ringing the bells, asking them if they needed training within the organization. And in most instances, the security guards would turn me away. In some instances, I could make it through to the reception. In other instances, I could meet people. In some instances, I was able to hand over a business card or a brochure. And then it would be a matter of, because there was no cell phones, no digital, nothing like that, following up item for item, person for person, trying to get business out of this entire region that I was trying to work. But I maintained my focus, and eventually I built a business out of that, and it was INTRA Train. And we ran training courses for many, many years, about 7 years. And we grew our staff. I think we had about 20 staff members and agents around the country. And I nearly wore myself out. And the truth of the matter is that I was exhausted after a while, absolutely exhausted. And at the same time, I was doing things like lick and stick envelopes, brochures, door knocks, promotions, speaking engagements, anything to get my name out there. And the name of INTRA stuck. Some time later, when I closed down the training company, Penny and I decided to actually start up INTRA Safe, where we published training material. And once again, it was a fledgling business. We started from nothing. We had to get people to know and understand who we were, what we did, what our qualifications were, what our competencies were, and so forth. And that's where our business started. We were really fortunate at that stage that digitization was starting to take place, and I actually got a computer, which was really quite unique. And this thing was called an XT, and it had little floppy disks, and we used to work with them, play with them, break them, do those sorts of things. And so the process started. Eventually, I had about 3 or 4 computers that were doing automated faxes, and we were faxing people, 200-300 people a night. We just fax them, fax them, fax them, fax them. And that's how I was starting to make this transition into the world of digitization, and how I started to get some sort of automatic process going. But I realized that that wasn't good enough. And as we grew our business, more and more need, more and more reach, and so forth was required to actually grow the business further. And we then landed up in a situation where we found ourselves in this wonderful situation where we've now become digital nomads. And that's something that my generation never, ever, ever, ever thought of. And being a digital nomad means I can work from anywhere in the world. And because my business, or our business, is a digitized business, we can do that. However, it still means that for us to be seen in the marketplace, we have to get really, really good. And to be good, we need to stand head and shoulders above any and every other opposition or competitor out there. So I was really challenged by a young man, came along to me and he said, your website is just one or two things that you could do to your website. In fact, what he should have said to me at that stage is, your website looks like a heap of junk. But he was too gracious to say that. Look, he's smiling on the screen there, sitting next to Natalie. Natalie, my daughter, came along and said, you could fix this and change this. And why have you got 5 YouTube accounts and 5 Facebook accounts and 5 LinkedIn accounts? I went, I thought that's the way you do it. And she went, just one or two things that we could do. And as a result of that, things changed. To the extent now where our business is becoming quite automated, we are finding it so much easier. I can honestly tell you right now that we have more leads than we can handle. And if you look on the screen over here, you'll see my son, Nathan. Nathan, why don't you just give a wave there? And Nathan and his wife, Deirdre, have actually joined us here in Mauritius. And they are, he's taken over the customer relations management side of the business. And he's talking to people. And we have hundreds of leads. Now, let me just say that. For some people, they're scrabbling trying to find business. But we've honestly got, Nathan, how many leads have you dealt with in the past 2 days? Okay, sorry, let me just ask him to unmute. Can I unmute Nathan? I'm not too sure if I can, but let me answer for him. Nathan has been dealing with dozens and dozens and dozens of leads. We don't have a problem finding leads. What we do have a problem with is managing the leads. So this evening, what we've done is we've asked 2 speakers to talk to us about how to do that. Now, to do that, I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to just quickly run through a couple of elements over here so that you know it, and anybody who's watching the video afterwards will be able to see it. I just want to say to everybody out there, it's lovely to have you with us. Thank you so much. And I see Manny's come on as well. Manny, welcome. Nice to have you with us as well, my friend. Okay, so first things first, let me ask you to please register by just sending a WhatsApp message to my WhatsApp number. If you wouldn't mind just sending the word boost to my phone so that I can see that you're here. And there are a couple of reasons for it. Is we have some free material that we'd like to send to you afterwards. And if you wouldn't mind doing that, that'd be great. So just send the word boost. It'll come through to my cell phone. And I'm sure, I'm just seeing over here. JP, thank you so much. Francois, thank you. And yeah, there we go. You can see the words coming through. Now, this is a very useful tool. This is also part of the social media thing where I've used and am using WhatsApp very, very effectively. A little bit about ourselves. Some of you already met Penny, the blonde. She has a career of her own and a business of her own. Then, of course, she's a co-director of INTRA. She is our financial director. There's Nathan. You can see him up there, customer relations manager. Then at the bottom left-hand corner, you'll meet Natalie, my daughter. And then on the right-hand side picture between Penny and myself, there's Stephanie Nelson, our CETA accreditation specialist. There are 1 or 2 other people like Charlene, who's not on the picture over here, but they essentially make up the INTRA team. Okay, that was Penny in the background. You can see she's here. A little bit about ourselves is that we have a program that we call the affiliate program. It's a licensing program where we license people to use our training material. We've got 3 basic products that we've got: basic, prime, and corporate. And currently there is a Black Friday special on the basic and the prime, where we've reduced the price by 10% at least. So we'll provide you with more information on that if you're interested, but not tonight. That's not the purpose for tonight. Anything and everything that I say is probably to be found on our website, which is www.safetytrainingkits.com. That's www.safetytrainingkits.com. And you'll be able to go onto the website and collect a lot more information. You'll see on the website there is a clickable button there called Get a Quote. And if you click that, you'll receive the information in writing as well. But there's quite a lot of research information such as CETA accreditation and the training material shop and the bookshop and so forth. And of course, now our new online learning program as well. Okay, if you happen to be a member of SIOSH, the South African Institute of Occupational Health and Safety, or Safety and Health, you can claim 1 CPD point by WhatsApping me again, and just send the word CPD, or the acronym CPD, to me, and I'll give you a SIOSH voucher. I'll send it to you, and you can claim the CPD point on the SIOSH website. Okay, once again, please register, send the word boost, and send the word CPD to me. Okay, with that, let's get straight into the presentation. I'm going to stop the screen share, and I'm going to hand over to our speakers. A little bit about our speakers. Natalie, my daughter, has a media degree from UCT. She's worked for a number of ad agencies in Cape Town, and she has a real understanding as a social media specialist and strategist of the whole social media space. She's been able to advise a number of our affiliates, and I'm sure you will see some of the logos there and you'll hear some of the names, and she will obviously provide you with information as well. Then we have Dee, or his more formal name is Devet Bosov Dee. Dee has he has a degree, my apologies, Dee, in Mandarin from China. He lived in China for 10 years, learned to speak Mandarin fluently. And while he was there, he was involved with an organization where they worked extensively on integration and automation of websites and web-based businesses. So from my perspective, when Dee was speaking to me, I didn't understand much, but I slowly but surely grew to understand how effective this entire process could be. And it really is a matter of us landing up in a situation where now we know so much more as a result of their intervention. So I want to salute the two of you. Thank you so much for cleaning up, fixing up, changing, modifying. He doesn't say good morning to me. He says, have you written content? Have you written content? I didn't know what that meant. I'm slowly but surely getting to the stage understanding what he means by content. And he's introduced me to so many other things as well, which I trust if you find this in any way beneficial, you can also utilize within your organization as well. Okay, so having said that, I'm going to hand over to Natalie and Dee, and I'm going to ask them to take over and continue with the presentation. So stand by, guys. You can set yourselves up, and I will just admit the other guests over here. So looking forward to you. Manny, I see you there. Nathan, you can see Manny. There we go. There's Nathan, our customer relations management person, and also my son. He and his wife have started working with us. Okay, Dee, are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we're ready.
Great. Over to you,
guys.
Intro.
Thanks for the intro, Dad.
Awesome. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for having us here today. Today, we're going to be talking to you guys a little bit about how you can boost your 2021 online marketing and digital presence. Now, as everybody knows, after the year that we've had, 2020 has been one for the books. Some that, a lot of us would like to get past us and look into the future. But really, it's been an eye-opening experience for a lot of entrepreneurs and small businesses, in the sense that right now is the time to digitize everything that you do, to automate things that you do online, and really to scale your workflow in such a sense that you can do anything from anywhere. And by sheer virtue of the fact that you guys are all here, that's telling me that you guys understand this. And our talk today is really much focused on walking you guys through the basics. Now, because a lot of this stuff can seem very overwhelming for anybody. It's like anything. If you don't know, I'm not particularly versed in health and safety myself. So, when you don't really know something, all it takes is just a little bit of patience and learning and the willingness to learn and to execute and to just take the small steps every day to better yourself. And I think that's part of the reason why we're talking to you guys today, is we really just want to cut through all of the complicated stuff so that you're not overwhelmed with everything, but really just giving you guys the bare bones and the bare basics of what you can be doing online to really set yourselves up for being found, for having a cohesive brand presence, and for helping to lighten the load a little bit in terms of what you can do with automation, as well as what is the segue from marketing into sales, and how all of the marketing that you're doing is going to push into sales, and how you can track all of that along the buyer journey. And with that, I'm going to hand you guys over to Natalie to start walking us through some of the basics that you guys can get started with today.
Awesome. Thanks for the intro, Dee. Cool. So starting kind of really, from the beginning is with your branding. And I find that, just seeing from the introductions earlier, there's a lot of you that have your own businesses, you work for yourself, and really your business is your brand. And it's so important to have that cohesion and to, really begin branding yourself and giving yourself this look and feel of what you want to create. So on this slide, I've included a couple of examples of some logos that I've recently redesigned with some of my current clients that are actually also affiliates with INTRA. And I've included INTRA's logo just because I really love, I mean, very impressive. My dad created that. He designed that logo himself. So yeah, props to him. It's, never too late to learn how to do anything. And I've included these here just to show you an example of what a good logo looks like, to give you an idea of look and feel, colors, font, that kind of thing. All of these logos really are very simple. They're easy to read. They're easy to identify so that when someone sees it, they know like, that's your business. It's very specific to you and even, your personality. Like my one client for QTE training, she really loved the idea of including her turtle in her logo. And for me at first, I was a bit unsure as to, why to include it, because it didn't really, have that synergy with health and safety. And then when she kind of explained it to me how, with the turtle, with the tortoise, they really stick their neck out and go the extra mile, I was like, well, that's really sweet. That's something that she really identifies with. So we found a way to include that into her logo. So it's kind of like having that thread of your uniqueness coming out into your branding, which is really, really important. So yeah, just starting from the basic of it, like with your business, a logo really is important. And this is something that you're going to include on all of your documents and in all of your digital marketing materials as well. So it's something that you really want to make sure that you're putting some thought into, and it's not just, something that's kind of like on a whim design. You want to really put some effort into it.
I'd also just like to add, with your brand, that's honestly the only thing that you can use to differentiate yourself from a cosmetic standpoint. When it comes to all of the other competitors that you guys are competing against. And when, we're looking at the race to the bottom, as everything becomes more saturated online, your brand is the only thing that's going to be recognizable. You can put out as much content as you want. You can try to be everywhere, but you'll be nowhere unless you have that cohesiveness around your brand. And, your brand is a reflection of your values as much as, what it is on a cosmetic front. But really, if you get that right from the outset, that's going to be everything that you're going to be using continuously through your journey, through marketing, through sales, through everything. And that's how you're going to be recognized. And having that is so much more recognizable than anything else that you can do. It's about like hitting it from the get-go. So yeah, that's all I can say about that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Dee. Because I also think when someone sees that logo, they remember that. That's why for INTRA's logo, it's something that it's unforgettable. Like you see it once and you'll remember it. You'll see it somewhere else and you'll be like, yes, INTRA, and you'll remember their branding. So it's really impactful to make sure that you've got something that stands out. Number 2 is your target audience. Who are you speaking to? A lot of the time, we don't really start from really looking at who our buyer persona is. Who are you speaking to? And really get clear on that. How old is this person? What do they do? Where do they work? How old are they? What are their interests? If you can niche down into who you're speaking to, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to identify in terms of your marketing, what channels to utilize and where you can actually access that target market. So instead of just a kind of spray and pray approach that you're, speaking to the whole world, that doesn't really work. You've really got to get clear on who you want to target so that your messaging, your content, everything can be specific to your target audience.
Yeah, I mean, I can just add on that to say that your buyer persona, really like nailing that and understanding 100% who you're speaking to. And one thing that you forgot to mention is the pain points and the challenges and like really creating content that speaks to those pain points and speaks to those challenges, so you can be seen as an authority that has solutions to the problems that your audience is seeking. Because every single marketing activity that you're going to engage in is going to be dictated to who you are speaking to. So it's very important that you take a lot of time and you really like pull your team together, make it a team activity where you guys are really discussing who these people are, where they found online, what problems they're dealing with, what are their goals, how are the solutions that you're providing going to make their lives and their jobs easier. And once you're able to do this, that's really just going to set the tone for all of your marketing activities, leading onwards and leading into number 3 with social media and which channels are relevant.
Yeah. So, I mean, like my dad was saying earlier, he was exaggerating as he does, but he didn't have 5 LinkedIn profiles but he did have about 5 Facebook profiles, and he was utilizing his Facebook profiles as if it was a business page. And obviously that's, not the right way to go about things. And also what we've seen is that, people think like, okay, I've got to be on social media. Let me be on every single social media channel there is out there. Like I've seen, people from the health and safety market on Instagram. And that just, as an example, is just not a relevant channel for your industry. So when you get clear on your target audience, that then gives you a clear indication of where you can find your audience and which channel they would be on. Most of the time it's LinkedIn or Facebook. Those, I would say, for your industry specifically are 2 of the best ones. And then, with social media, it's how are you providing value, especially with Facebook pages nowadays. And even, I'm not sure, I think LinkedIn's a little bit better in terms of reach, but with a Facebook page, the reach now is about 2% of the pool of people that have liked your page, which is really, really minimal. So organic reach is pretty much non-existent, which means that you have to pay to play. So you have to pay advertising to be seen on Facebook. Whereas I know on LinkedIn's supposed to be a bit better now, where their organic reach is much higher. So that's why having both those channels and utilizing both is advised. But it's not just about, advertising your services with a post here and there and like hoping that that's going to be enough. It's really thinking about what value can you provide to your audience? And I put their example INTRA because I think my dad is a stellar example of someone who really knows his target audience, and he goes in to see, okay, what does my audience really need? Like, what value can I provide them with? What can I create that's really going to actually help them, not just help me? And I think that's where he's really, gotten a lot of business from, is instead of just, focusing on what can I get from people, it's what can I give to people? And when you do that, you then receive.
Yeah, I would just like to add, I guess that's kind of the old adage of selling without selling, right? If you're putting the people that you're supposed to be speaking to above your own needs, above your own wants and desires, and really like tailoring the whole marketing experience for them and speaking to their pain points and their challenges and helping them, achieve their goals, that's where you guys need to be concentrating on. And really, when you look at which channels are relevant, it's really just a case of like, there isn't enough time in the day for you to be wasting time spreading all of your sales material and your pitches all over the internet on these social media platforms. Nobody's going to listen to you. Everything is so saturated. You need to be different. And how you can be different is by putting your target audience above your own wants and needs, and really just helping to provide value to them and speaking to them directly. And I think that's really, how you have a winning cocktail for winning on social media, because you don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to be everywhere. You really need to like pick a lane and like go all in on that and be the best at that and provide as much value as you can. And that's honestly how you start to grow a following and how you start to, really provide a lot of value.
Awesome. Cool. So our next point is about website, and I actually just want to stop the share quick because I'd like to see if you're able to either come in the chat or you can put your hand up. I'd love to see you who has a website here.
Can you put your hand up if you have a website?
If you have a website, put your hand up or let us know in the chat if your video is off.
Okay, JP's got his hand up. I see his hand up there. Well done, JP.
Yeah, Kevin seems to know how to use the clappy hands. Well done, Kevin. That's great.
I see Sean says he has one.
Awesome.
Cool. Okay, we just wanted to get an idea of how many people actually have websites. Great.
Paul says he has one.
Awesome.
Cool. Awesome. So yeah, I just wanted to get an idea of how many of you actually have a website, and then really honing in on how does your website look? What's the impression you feel your website will give a prospective lead? Have you included all of your relevant credentials? So what I'm seeing a lot of the time is that people have a website, but then their website is really just something that's maybe created on a whim. It doesn't really include all the relevant information. It doesn't have any cohesion in terms of branding. Fonts are different. Sometimes there's still even placeholder text like that lorem ipsum. People have forgotten to, put in all the copies so that they've got like half placeholder copy, half of their actual content. Images are low res. You can't see things properly. So I want you to really think about, if you do have a website, what is the impression that your website gives you if you were someone to see this for the first time, does it make you want to be like, yes, I like this person looks extremely professional. I want to work with them, because that's what your website is. It's basically a storefront for your business. And when a prospective lead lands on your website, this is your chance to really blow them away with the information that you include there. And so it's really important to make sure that if you are going to have a website, that you do it properly. Do you add anything there?
Yeah. I mean, I would like to add, obviously I've seen a lot of people that didn't put their hands up, and, I think in this day and age, obviously everything that we've gone through in this past year, with our social distancing and, the fact that we aren't actually able to have face-to-face meetings, even though it's a little bit better now, I think we're transitioning away from this, more traditional business, sense where you can actually call somebody up and go have a meeting with them, client face-to-face, to having a presence online that is literally your sales agent for you 24/7. And I think that's really what, the potential that a website holds for you. And it's not something that's like a glorified sales page, right? Where you're just telling everybody how amazing you are, because as you guys have realized in the previous section that we shared with you, it's all about how you can provide value. And I think once you're able to do that, you're setting yourself above everybody else, and not only just leading with that from a marketing perspective, but also having a presence online gives you its presence, right? People can find you, and we're not talking about your close network or maybe 50 people that we're talking about the potential of hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands. This is the pool that you're drawing from, and that's a lot bigger pool than just getting referral leads from people that in your business or people that in your network. And that's the power that a website holds for you. And obviously, we've included some case studies here, some of these websites that Natalie's worked on. You can go and take a look at some of those. But really, I think at this point, if you're really serious about taking your business to the next level and having a presence and not really like worrying about where all your leads are going to come from, or having you breaking your back trying to find people, having a website in this day and age is absolutely paramount. So that's something that you should take a look at. And luckily, when we get to some of the free resources at the end of this talk, we believe we can give you guys a good head start about how you can start going about planning all of that. Okay, so we're going to now talk a little bit about the transition from marketing to sales. You know, I've actually been working in marketing for probably the past 8 or 9 years. And one of the most incredible tools that I was exposed to early on in my career was the HubSpot CRM. And I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the CRM, but it is a customer relationship management tool. And really what this is allowing us to do is exactly what we've said in the slide here, and that is helping you to transition from marketing to sales. I quickly just want to stop the share here and quickly just get a show of hands from everybody. If you guys are there with your camera, how many of you use Excel, an Excel sheet to store your clients, you know, all the lead data that you have, or you write it in a notebook? If you can put your hand up. Okay, we've got 1 there, 2 there, 3 there. 4. Okay, great. Okay, so, you know, obviously I can see that something like this that we're talking about is maybe something that you guys are not 100% familiar with yet, but, you know, that's why you guys are here, and you've come to the right place. And really what HubSpot allows you to do, and I mean, I could honestly talk to you guys, you know, days and hours about HubSpot, because I've just used it, you know, for the longest time. And I literally, every single client that I work with, I get them on HubSpot. But really, you know, there's resources that we can direct you guys to go and take a look at yourself, you know, to see if this is something that can benefit you. But really, when we're looking at marketing and everything that you're doing on your website and everything that you're doing on social media, when we look to take that to the next level and we look to really funnel all of that traffic to a place where you have all of the lead data at your disposal, where you can email and follow up with prospects. You can set tasks, you know, to follow up with these guys, where you'll get email notifications automatically to, you know, remind you to follow up with these guys. You can send bulk email marketing shots, you know, where you basically can email your entire database. And all that we're doing with a system like HubSpot is we're connecting your website and all of your marketing activities into one platform. And that provides us with the marketing intelligence to be better salespeople. Now, HubSpot has many, many amazing free tools that you guys can use. You're able to upload, and it's free. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it's free. It's absolutely free. You can take your Excel file or your CSV file with all of your contacts and your lead data, and you can upload these guys into HubSpot, and you can start prospecting them from this platform. You know, if you're lucky enough to have a website, you can connect your website with HubSpot so that you can get marketing intelligence when somebody comes onto your website and fills out a form on your website. It gets captured into the CRM, and you will have a contact record there telling you exactly what this person wants, which page they came from, maybe what material they were looking at. And as a salesperson, having that intelligence is honestly invaluable, right? You can start a conversation with this person and already know what they're looking for, already know what their pain points are. And I mean, that is just so invaluable in today's day and age. I mean, everybody here is probably very used to cold calling, or, you know, sending out cold emails to try to prospect these guys. When we're integrating marketing and everything you're doing on your website and social media with a system like this, you have the utmost transparency as to what is happening in your business on a day-to-day basis. You as the business owner will understand where your leads are coming from, which is really important. So you know how to manage your time, and you know which platforms to go all in with. And you'll also be armed with the intelligence to understand where these guys, you know, what pages and things that they engaged with. And that honestly just gives you everything that you need to be a better salesperson and to close more leads. And that's what HubSpot is really good for doing. And, you know, I would really encourage all of you guys to go and take a look at that and see if that can work for you, because it's honestly, yeah, it's just closed loop. You're closing the loop on everything that you're doing. And the great thing is they also have a mobile app. So, you know, Ken, this is one of the biggest sells that I gave to Ken when I first introduced this software to him was, well, Ken, you can download this on your mobile phone and you can be speaking to leads and, you know, pulling them through your sales funnel by, like, you know, putting your finger on your phone and dragging it across and closing these leads in a very structured and organized manner from anywhere, from the beach, you know, from your bed, from anywhere that you are. And I think in today's day and age, this is something that has become so critical to us actually, you know, getting on with things and not really being disturbed by, you know, pandemics and all of the other things that we have to deal with in this day and age. And yeah, I mean, you know, if you believe in that as much as I do in the progression of technology and how that can impact your business, then this is something that I can promise you is going to make a big impact on your business. And sort of leading on to that, you know, obviously there is so much that we could share with you guys and so much that we can talk about on the subject. But in my experience, you know, based on what we've spoken to you guys about, first and foremost, I'll just introduce number 3 here for you. Canva is also another free tool that you guys can be using. If, you know, like I understand 2020 has been a really difficult year for a lot of people. And Canva is a really intuitive design program that has like hundreds, if not thousands of free templates that you can be using to create logos with, based on some of the, you know, some of the basic tips that we gave you guys there. And I'd encourage you guys to go and set up an account there. You can create social media banners for your pages. You can create social media posts, flyers, brochures, ebooks. I mean, the lists are endless of like the things that you can do with this, and it's free. It's free. You don't need to worry about paying somebody. I mean, like Ken is the biggest, you know, torchbearer for that. You know, he's taken design on himself. And I think that's why you guys are all here, because you have a willingness to learn. And that's one of the tools that's going to get you there. Then for those of you who would really like to take a much deeper dive, I would recommend this very first platform. This is Neil Patel. He's one of like the biggest names in online marketing in the world. I follow this guy religiously. A lot of what I'm telling you is knowledge that I gained from him. And, you know, I'm not ashamed to say that, you know, we keep on skilling up, we keep on leveling up. And you know, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're probably in the wrong room. So if you're really interested to learn more about digital marketing, content marketing, like Ken said, that I always bug him with, you know, how to be found on Google. This guy offers free classes. Literally, if you go type in Neil Patel on YouTube, you'll see that he has tons of new classes that he's, you know, he's rolled out for free for all of his followers. You know, things like how to prospect on LinkedIn. I personally love LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is a great channel for all of you that are attending here, business to business. It's a really great platform. He's got courses on content marketing, how you can provide value. He's got courses on, you know, how you can create content that ranks, meaning how you can create content that when people search a specific keyword in your industry, you come at the top of the list and they find you. So I would encourage you guys, if you want to take a deep dive and you're really interested in learning, I would go to Neil Patel. It's an amazing resource. And then, you know, obviously this wouldn't be complete without HubSpot. HubSpot has their own blog as well. You know, it's just a really great resource where you guys can learn more about digital marketing. And they've obviously got a lot of content based on their own platform. You know, I get it. You know, a lot of the stuff is new. A lot of the stuff can seem intimidating and overwhelming. But if you just put in a little bit of time and you go through some of this content and some of these articles, you can find that, you know, you can start using these platforms. You can really start taking a big step towards automating your business, taking your business offline, you know, online, from offline to online, and literally working from anywhere. And, the great thing about HubSpot as well, they have a very, extensive knowledge base inside of the platform. So once you sign up for their free CRM, you can just go into Google and type in HubSpot free CRM. And once you sign up there, you can select, I have never used the CRM before, if it's your first time. And literally, HubSpot platform is so intuitive and clever that it's going to walk you guys through literally everything that you need step by step to set up the platform and to get you, connected with your website and prospecting your leads in a very effective and efficient manner. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about that. I mean, for me personally, I want to thank all of you guys for taking the time and for joining us today. And, I just wish you all the best of luck, because I honestly know how hard it is, but the fact that you guys are here, you're taking the step in the right direction. And, 2021 can only be better for you guys being here and for you guys actually putting in the time and effort to grow something, so that's all from me.
Awesome. Thanks, Dee. So we're going to open it up for questions. So you're able to, just ask any questions that you want to us. You can just unmute yourself and ask away.
Okay, while they're unmuting themselves, I want to say thank you so much to you guys. I really, really appreciate it. And, when you're listening to Natalie and Dee, you probably went, wow, I don't have time for this stuff. And it's almost like a cart before the horse thing. I want time. The most valuable thing for me right now is time. If I've got time, I can actually go and play. I can go and kayak, we kayak. I can go and cycle, we cycle. I can go and swim and snorkel, we swim and snorkel. But to do that, and picnic on the beach, to do that, you have to have time. So the way that I approached it in my mind is, let's get these things sorted. Let me defer to somebody who knows what they're doing. Let them do the work. Natalie, Dee, thank you. We appreciate that. They did the work. And as a result of that, I then had more time. And Dee was just talking about a number of things which is available and free. The research and personal study and things like that. I just didn't have time for that. And they know that. They probably look at me and they go, wow, what's wrong with this guy? Because they spoke to me about stuff like Google Drive. How do you use Google and Google Drive and Google Photographs and Google Contacts? And I had this resistance. I don't want to go there. Do it for me.
You just Google how to use Google.
I Google. Okay, so that was where I was at. But then as these mechanisms started operating, it just allowed me more time. And the last thing I'll just mention before we take questions was this. It's one thing getting leads. It's another thing managing those leads, and Dee touched on that. So I can, and they know, I can generate, as a result of maybe a free giveaway or something like that, I can generate 600-700 email addresses. And Delene, you asked the question about Poppy. And now cold calling and Poppy, those sorts of things might become a problem in future. But this way I can have the person approach me, and I then have the right to approach them. How cool is that? But how do you handle an influx of 600 leads? How do you handle that? How do you filter it so that you find the best leads of that lot? Otherwise, you can just have people doing things. So it's really like a cart before the horse situation. So I want to say this before we take questions. Natalie and Dee services are available. Now, obviously for our affiliates get this either at a discounted price or they get it for free if you're a new affiliate. Free for Natalie services, charged for Dee services, and there's a cost involved. So I'll just finish off by saying what I've found is this. Dee mentioned it. Somebody finds the website, and to find the website, I need to be found. So he's helped me so that people can find me or find INTRA. Then when they're on the website, they submit a form, they click it. As a result of that, it goes into HubSpot. As a result of that, I get an email. As a result of that, I get it uploaded into Google and Google Contacts, and that automatically comes through to my phone. So I don't have to type in stuff on my phone anymore. Dee, you've saved me hours and hours and hours and hours, and I appreciate that. Natalie, in turn, she looked at our Facebook or our social media profile and said, fix, change, modify. So we just look more professional. And she's also helped me with a lot of things that I did wrong in the beginning. So I want to say thank you. Okay, having said that, there's a ton of things that we can still chat about, but I think it's fair to say time for questions. Anybody have any questions? Nati says, awesome stuff. Thank you, Dee and Natalie. Sean says, thanks for the webinar. Off to the next meeting. Be well. Okay, do we have any questions that anybody would like to ask? Okay, Dee, not sure where you are. Can you just quickly explain what you mean by integration and automation?
Sure. So on a basic level, really, for anybody that's got a website, we're looking at integrating your website with HubSpot, which is the CRM system. And HubSpot is, just so amazing that once you actually set up your profile and you connect your website with HubSpot, it seamlessly connects with, with everything that you're seeing, all the activity of your visitors, that are on your website. All of that is going to get logged inside of HubSpot. And that's the integration part of things that we're talking about, from your website to HubSpot. And that's basically your marketing to your sales. And when we talk about automation, all of that stuff happens automatically. Obviously, there's a level of automation that is required to do such things like Ken mentioned, where if somebody comes in and they fill out the form on the website and they leave a phone number, that the phone number automatically gets saved and stored to Ken's phone. That's a sort of an upper level or another tier of automation that can be set up with other programs, that I use, paid programs that I use to accomplish things like that. So it's really just automating a lot of those, monotonous and like laborious tasks that you couldn't be bothered to do, using automation and using the power of this technology to make your life easier. And obviously, Ken, like you were saying, if you're offering something for free and 600 people inquire, you're not going to be, in a position to go and manually enter 600 email addresses into a spreadsheet, let alone into a system, So if you have that integration, it's happening automatically. You don't need to even worry about all of these people that are coming through on your site through your marketing efforts. They're all going to be pulled through automatically. And that's the integration that we're talking about, and just makes your lives easier. And, as I said, those resources that we shared with you guys, honestly, if you go and just spend a little bit of time, maybe this weekend, maybe in an evening when you have a little bit of time after work, I can promise you guys are going to find value out of that. And really all I see there from Manny to everyone, can HubSpot use access? Can you clarify what you mean by access, Manny?
I think he might be talking about Microsoft Access, the database program.
What's the pros and cons of redesigning external companies?
So we'll take a look. We'll take a look at this now. Okay, so I can see Nati is using Fusion CRM. That's great, Nati. I'm so happy that you are using a CRM. I'm hoping that your website is actually connected to your CRM, because that's sort of where the transition from marketing to sales happens. If that's not the case and you do have a website, I'd strongly encourage that you go check out HubSpot's free CRM, because in my opinion, it's the best CRM that is available today. I'm just going to look here. Can HubSpot use Access? Ken, you were saying Access is a Microsoft program?
It's a database program that they used to have. I don't know if you still got it. I haven't used it for years.
Okay,
and years and years.
so I'm guessing, I can say it like this to you guys in plain English. If it's Microsoft Access, okay, if you have a list of leads, whether that be in a notebook or an Excel sheet or anywhere that you've stored your database, HubSpot has an import feature that basically allows you, once you've been able to format the data in such a way that it's going to like pull over all of the properties that you have, whether that's name, number, email, address, whatever, you can pull all of that information into HubSpot quite easily. So, don't be worried about that. Even if you are using something else to store that information, it's quite easy, and you can follow the instructions. HubSpot will give you the instructions to a T to show you how to pull all of that information into your CRM. And then you can start using the information to start emailing people. And the kicker is that you can email people inside of the CRM. So, I mean, I know a lot of you might be, interested in, or you're probably familiar with just emailing out of Outlook or just out of your normal inbox. HubSpot's amazing in the sense that you can use it. It's your one-stop platform. You can like sync your inbox with HubSpot and start, emailing outside, like inside of HubSpot, and that's going to be saved on a contact record for the rest of your days. And like for me, that's a lot easier than like scrolling through an inbox, looking at like multiple threads and trying to like make, what of which to see who I'm trying to talk to. And like everything is bucketed under one contact record. So I would, that's one of the great features about it. And I would encourage you guys to take a look at that. I can see maybe Nat, you can answer this one. What's the pros and cons of redesigning your existing company logo?
Yeah, so I think you'd have to ask yourself the question, okay, why do you want to redesign your logo? As the saying goes, if it's not broke, don't fix it, unless your logo looks like, it was created 20 years ago. Of which case then, you may want to refresh it. And I think, there's absolutely, I wouldn't say there's, specifically any pros or cons. It might just be a more admin type issue in terms of having to, take your logo and put it onto all of your company, letterheads, those kinds of things. But I don't think there's anything, there's no specific cons to redesigning your company logo. I think sometimes actually refreshing your brand logo can be really good for your business, and it can just bring something very exciting to your company and also something to talk about. It's something where you can engage with people on and be like, have a look at our new logo that we've redesigned. This is our inspiration behind it. That also goes really well with if you are creating a website as well.
I think
if I can chip in over here quickly, one of the things that we see all the time is people come up with the most bizarre names for their companies. Now, I do know multisyllabic, multi-vowel names are kind of like traditional, or people are comfortable with it. But just remember that if you're on the phone and you're phoning somebody and you say you're from such and such a company, the person on the other side must be able to immediately register what that name is and not ask you to repeat it. Similarly, websites, they give them names that have no relevance whatsoever to the nature of the business that they're in. And I urge people, keep it short. 1 or 2 vowels, 1 or 2 syllables. That's it. Just keep it short so that you can pronounce it. I mean, even the name INTRA, people go INTRA like enter, and they get it wrong. But at least I can go INTRA, nice and simple. But if the name is multisyllabic, or my surname is Annandale, and we were having fun at dinner tonight, it was literally a matter of how many different ways can you say Annandale? And the truth is that there's a lot of ways you can say Annandale. Can they search it? Can they repeat it? Can they write it down? Can they save it in the phone? And what are your ideas or thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I think it's really important to be able to, have something that's impactful. You want someone to be able to see your logo, see the name of your business, and remember you. If it's too long and you're not able to, you can't remember how to even spell it, then how will they go and search for you further? So you want to have a brand name where someone can be like, okay, cool, I remember, even if it's like a few letters off, but when they type your business into Google, similar things might be suggested, and then they'll be like, that's the name of the business, and then it'll come up on Google, and they'll be able to select it there. And that was also one of the the positives about having social profiles like Facebook and LinkedIn, you'll notice that whenever you search for a business or even a person in Google, the first thing that comes up at the top of the page is usually a Facebook page or a Facebook profile. So having social profiles such as those can really help to increase your search engine optimization, which just means that you're more visible on the internet.
Deline asked a question about security. I think, Deline, you're referring to HubSpot. Is it secure? Can hackers get into it? Dee?
I haven't seen the question here, but I can just let everybody know without like going too geek on all of you. HubSpot is a software that is hosted on the cloud. So they've got their own servers, much like, if you have Google products like Google Drive, where you get free storage that is stored on the cloud. All of this is encrypted, so they have their own security protocols. I mean, guys, this is an IPO listed company on the New York Stock Exchange. Data security is extremely important to them. I know a lot of financial companies, I believe that Discovery is one of them that is also contemplating going onto the system as well. If it's going to meet their stringent protocols, I can bet they're going to meet yours. So yeah, that's all I can say about that.
Well, looking at the time, I think we're starting to run out of time. And I just want to say to you, thank you so much. I appreciate all the guests that have come on. I know that there will be a lot of people that will be able to watch this tomorrow and so forth. We've got a number of people saying they couldn't make it, or somebody was saying there's a rainstorm and the signal was really bad. So what we'll be doing is we'll be taking this and we'll be uploading it to YouTube, and you'll be able to find it on YouTube and you'll be able to share it with people. I will share the URL, the link, with every single person that's been here so that you can watch it a couple of times. But what I do want to say at this stage is I have a statement, and Natalie and Dee know this. My statement is this: promote first, produce second. Promote first, because you might be promoting something that doesn't sell. And instead of developing the product or the service or whatever it is that you're doing, you spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours developing this stuff just to find out it doesn't sell. How do I know? Because I have some products that don't sell. Simple. And I spent weeks, and if anybody knows me in my research and development processes, and Penny's actually sitting on the other side of here, I honestly spend weeks and weeks and weeks perfecting it. I'm that kind of person. And then nobody buys it. So having all the right mechanisms in place, so you've got your social media in place, you've got your database in place, you've got your customer relations management system in place, you've got all this integration that is starting to happen behind the scenes. It's going to give you time and also the mechanism to promote yourself, your services, your products, and so forth. As a result of that, you will then see, this sells. So I just want to give you an example. We promoted an event 1 week ago. And it was on environmental toxic waste management and overview. And Francois is here this evening. As a result of Francois' talk, we identified that there is a massive need and people need training in the realm of environmental toxic management and or the general topic. So that's what I mean by promote first. But I couldn't have done that if I didn't have WhatsApp, didn't have social media, didn't have MailChimp that I mailed out on. If I didn't have those things, I couldn't have promoted it. And now Francois and I and Ilse are going to develop some training material specific for people that need to talk of she. So do you understand the principle? But without the platforms, it's almost impossible. Now, I want to do a quick sell for Natalie. So Natalie does the initial stuff. We call it phase 1 of the entire process. The new affiliates get that as part of their affiliate package, which is fantastic. You'll spend 5 hours with Natalie. She'll give you 5 hours of her time. She will do an analysis of your existing platforms and what you look like, from photographs on your profile pictures right down to logos and names and things like that. And she'll talk to you about that in the 5-hour process. If you want more, you can obviously engage her to do other things as well. Then Dee will, if you want him to, now this is obviously, it's a different fee. This is stage 2, where you can actually talk to Dee and say, how are you going to fix what I've got? He'll do an analysis of it. He will tell you how many hits you get on your website. He'll give you strategic, analytical information about what's actually happening. And the money that you spent on that website, does it really work? And are you getting the benefit from it? And Dee, I know that you can add a lot more to that. So if anybody wants to make contact with Natalie and Dee, please just WhatsApp me a note, and then I will ask them to contact you. If you don't mind, I think that'll be the simplest. Guys, Natalie and Dee, are you good with that?
Sorry, Dad, just to add on to that, also, if you don't have a website, we also offer website, basically to create a website for you. We can do that as well. I project manage it. I have a developer that I work with, and then in building your website, Dee comes on board to set up HubSpot and make sure that your website and HubSpot are fully integrated, so that you literally walk away, with a full-on package, website and HubSpot together.
I'd also just like to add that, I like I said before, I think this is, it might be a lot for you guys to take in right now. And that's why we'll really strongly encourage you to, it's not something you need to do right now. Don't jump into this without doing your research first. Go and take a look at those free resources that we sent you. Honestly, I believe that, if you guys go and take a look at all of that stuff, you can really start getting set up on your own with these things. And as much as we'd like to say you guys can use us, knowledge is power. That's why you guys are all here. You guys are all here to learn. We'd be happy to guide you guys through it, because we know there's not enough time in the day. But if you guys go and take a look at those resources, I can promise you'll get value out of that. And maybe you'll find a way. You'll understand how you guys are going to plot the course forward for 2021. When you guys come back to us, you guys are going to be well informed to say, listen, I think a website's a good idea. I've done a bit of research. I'd like to see what, the automation and getting HubSpot synced with my website is going to look like, and how that's going to help me. And we can take things forward from there. But, just educate yourselves. That's what we all do, right? To learn.
Yeah. And just to add on to that, something that Penny, my stepmom, she's always, what she's taught me is that, just as an example, in terms of your finances, she's like, you can get someone to do your books for you, but it's empowering yourself to actually know what they're doing, and to really do the research to know, okay, what's the information that I need to know about my tax, so that even though someone else may be doing it, like, for example, if you were to use us, you still empowered, knowing a little bit of information about what's going on, and what's helpful, what's not helpful. At the end of the day, that it's your business, so it's in your interest to know how things work and what to do.
Absolutely. So our confidence in Dee and Natalie is they've rebuilt the IntraSafe website completely. They've rebuilt Penny's website completely. Our website is, it's an evolution, and Dee's taught me how to do certain things on that website. So that Dee has been fantastic. I will obviously stay in contact with him and go, help from time to time. Can you take some time off and help me? So all of those services are available. What I want to do now is I just want to ask you, if you wouldn't mind, if you have any compliments or you have any comments for Natalie and Dee, or if you want them to contact you, so compliments, comments, and contact, just send me a message, and then I'll pass it on to them and they can follow up with that. Then we will be placing this online, and you'll get it on YouTube tomorrow morning. You'll be able to watch it again and again and again, and share it with people if you would like to. And I sort of finish off by saying that right in the beginning, when I started my business, I was introduced to a man by the name of Tom Hopkins. Some of you may or may not know the name, but he wrote a book called The Salesman's Bible. And it was absolutely so powerful and impactful that I started regarding myself as a salesman and then a trainer, not a trainer and a salesman. Because if I can't sell, I might be the best presenter, I might be the best trainer, I might be the best developer of training material in the world, but I've got to sell it. And I've got to be able to interact with people and sell it. And I trust that Natalie and Dee have learned that from us during your stay here with us. And I want to say that there was a story that Tom Hopkins spoke about, and it's a biblical principle. He talks about the sower and the reaper. And he talks about how selling is like farming. He says you arrive on a barren, arid piece of ground, and you start testing to see what will grow. You clear, you clean, you fix, you change, you chop. You do all kinds of things just to get this little plot where you can do your experimentation. Once you've done that, you've obviously got to plant and then nurture and tend to see what grows. And once you've got that, you get an idea of, okay, well, those plants grow in this season and so forth. And then you spread it out and you get the plot next door and you start planting and growing there. And that's how you scale your business. And that analogy is so true. He also said that you've got to watch out that people will come after you and try and take your business away from you. And the way that they do it nowadays is that they're better than you. They have a greater presence on the internet than you. They have specialists and experts, and they have big budgets that they can run. And if you know some of the health and safety organizations in South Africa, they have many, many millions of rands behind them. Now, you and I want to compete with them. So the way we compete with them is we get clever. And we use all the automation that's available, the integration. We use the platforms that are there. And we can play with the big boys, and the big guys. And Natalie was saying, thank you for your comment about our logo. We are playing with the big guys, and the brand INTRA is becoming a well-known brand around South Africa, in fact, Southern Africa as well. So I want to just wrap up by saying thank you so much to everybody. So I'm going to go back onto screen share so I can just quickly wrap it up there. So to you guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. If you're a member of SIOSH, remember you can claim your CPD points by WhatsApping the word CPD or the acronym CPD to my cell phone number. And if there's anybody that would like to talk to us personally, just send me the meeting request. We can Zoom, or just send me the word meet, and then we can Zoom from there. And we can talk about your needs. We can talk to your management team. If you need a management team presentation, we can also talk to them there. And I just want to end off by saying to our two speakers, thank you so much. You guys did an awesome job. And to everybody that's been participating in this process, thank you so much. We don't know what the topic is going to be for next week. We're still trying to arrange a speaker. She has indicated that she might be available, but I will let everybody know. But there will be a webinar next week. It may very well be the last one for this year. So to all our followers, everybody that's been participating, and those of you that are watching the YouTube clip, please go to the bottom, hit the subscribe button. You'll see there's a little bell. If you click that bell as well, you'll also be notified of the fact that there's a new video and there's some new information. So from Penny and myself, Natalie and Dee, Nathan, and our team at INTRA, we want to say thank you so much. All the best. Have a wonderful evening, and bye for now.
So much,
Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank
Good
you.
evening. Take care.
Have a good evening.
Stay safe.
Bye.